sermon today and guide our growth, Father, and let us ourselves grow. Father. Please be here now, Father. Be with our sermoner, Pastor Justin. Really speak through him, Father. May we open up our hearts and our minds to receive your Spirit, Father. We deeply thank you. And I pray this in all of our names and in my name, my family's name, Jim and Kathy Stinnard of the Less Central family, Aju.
All right, thank you so much for that beautiful prayer. The Sunday school begins now, so if you have kids here, you can bring them there. And let's welcome up our beloved Pastor Justin. Let's go.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Happy Sunday. Good to see you all. So good to be here with you all on this Sunday. We had a full day yesterday at the workshop. I'll share a little bit about that. Just a note, if I look a little shaky today, I just had one too many cups of coffee. Like Rob Kitchens, I love the Java. But I'm going to be doing my best staying present with all of you. So today we're going to continue on our series for this month of July, Reaching for God, which is all about finding answers to this question of how can we have a personal, deep, and intimate relationship with God, our Heavenly Parent. So just a quick report about yesterday. We had our Belvedere Experience workshop, our one-day workshop here. And actually, I think at its height, we had about 50 people who attended this workshop. So it was really a huge success. And we had Uncle Noah giving amazing lectures about the principle. And you can see a great crowd. We had a big mix of young and old and different ethnicities and races and different backgrounds of people coming together. And we ended the night with a really wonderful evening program where we had performances. Actually, quite a few of the guests also performed, and they were just amazing. They really blew us away of like, wow, so much hidden talent in the room. Also, some of our wonderful brothers and sisters who were able to offer songs, and Pastor Mika offered a poem. Brother Sunil was the MC for the program, and of course Raul gave a great song. George is in the back. He did great. That was awesome. And you can see Pastor Mika offering a poem. We had Rayhan, one of our guests. He sang Amazing Grace, and of course Rumiko-san gave two amazing performances with the piano. It was amazing. Something that you really ought to be paying for, to see that level of performance. So it was great, and I just wanted to thank everyone who organized, especially Uncle Noah and Pastor Daryl, Pastor Mika, and all the staff. So let's give them all a big round of applause. Kitchen staff. Let's give it up for the kitchen staff. They were amazing. The food was so good. And next time we have a workshop, if there's a little resistance, just show up for the food, and everything else will be great too. So good enough reason to show up. So just to review from our last sermon, we were talking about finding presence in pain. These are the four main points. Is that pain is inevitable, but what we do with it is up to us. And it's in our moments of pain that we can feel closest to God. And God is in pain due to being unable to be in a parent-child relationship with us. And finally, by experiencing our pain, we can also experience love and profound joy. So today, continuing this series, we're going to be talking about creating the environment. Isn't that a beautiful picture of Belvedere? Yeah, it's yeah, we're so lucky to have this place. And yeah, this message is really about the importance of creating an environment where we can experience God, and the profound impact that our environment actually has on our life of faith, but also on all areas of life. It doesn't matter what area it is. Our environment is so important. And if we've read from Mother Moon's recent speeches and her words, she talks about the environment all the time, whether that be about the global environment of this planet or about creating environments in our communities. Jesus talked about building God's kingdom, right? Building this kingdom of heaven on earth as it is in heaven. So it's about creating that environment. So having an environment where we can experience God is so crucial. And I want to look at why that is. Why is it so important, this point about the environment? So first of all, let's reflect for ourselves, how does our environment actually impact us in our daily lives? Even when we look at these two pictures, we see two kind of environments right here, right? When you look at one of them, it looks so natural, peaceful, and even just looking at that picture, you can feel this sense of ease, the sense of peace, the sense of beauty. And the other one, you see a different picture, industrial pollution. And how do you feel just looking at that picture? We feel like it's hard to breathe. And the thing is, it doesn't matter, what you do. You could be doing the same thing. You can be trying to live the most healthy lifestyle, just physically speaking, going out jogging, going for a run. And you do that in one environment where it's peaceful and it's serene, and it's going to be great for you. And you do that in a different environment where there's pollution, where there's bad air quality, and it's going to be unhealthy for you. It's actually going to bring you down. So regardless of what we choose to do personally with our own decisions and our own actions, if we're not in a proper environment where it can make a positive impact and result, it's not going to lead to anything. So whether we talk about this in a religious context or just, again, in the context of our life and developing ourselves, there's a very popular self-development author named James Clear. He says, environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. We tend to believe our habits are a product of our motivation, talent, and effort. Certainly, these qualities matter, but the surprising thing is, especially over a long time period, your personal characteristics tend to get overpowered by your environment. So it means that, yeah, there's going to be times where we're going to have bursts of inspiration and bursts of motivation and say, I'm going to make it to that gym. I'm going to go and I'm going to finish that project. But eventually, in the long term, our environment is ultimately going to bring us back to wherever that environment is pulling us. That environment is like a magnetic force that pulls us to conform to the intention of the environment. So an example of this is like dieting. Anybody here ever try to get on a diet, to stick to a diet? Yeah, my mom's been on a pretty intense diet recently, doing a great job. But everyone who's like a health coach or a health expert, they'll give you this key advice about keeping a diet. It's not about your willpower. The most important thing is that you make your environment so that it becomes easy for you. What does that mean? It means get rid of the temptations, get rid of the triggers, get rid of your junk food, clean out your pantry, make sure that you've got fresh fruits and vegetables and healthy things in your house so that it's not difficult to keep your diet. If you don't do that, you are dooming yourself to fail whatever you're trying to do. Going to the gym is another example of going into an environment where you are being pulled by the environment to exercise, right? I've tried so many times to say, I'm going to do an exercise routine, and try to do it at my home and try to skip the gym membership fee. But so many times it was like, oh, I don't have the space. I've got to clean up every time before I get to exercise. And it just was a hassle and it never happened. But the thing is, just like with the gym or whatever it is, 99% of the battle is already won just by getting yourself to the environment, just by getting yourself there. And then from there, the environment helps you and supports you and does the work on you so that you can be successful. I experienced this when I was living in Japan. This is a picture of me when I was living in Japan. That's why I put that up there. And do you notice anything? I was about 15 pounds lighter when I was living in Japan. At my lowest, I think I reached 125 pounds. And some people thought I looked a little unhealthy because of how skinny I was. But let me just say that when I was in Japan, it took zero willpower for me to be at that weight. It was just very natural because every single day I was riding my bike to get to work. Every single day I was walking to the train station, walking to the bus. I didn't have a car to drive me around everywhere. I was eating healthier food. Japanese portions tend to be just smaller. So zero work on my effort, but I was able to keep this very low weight. And let me tell you, I come to America, 6 months later, I am 10 pounds heavier. And it's purely because the environment that I was living in changed. Just a real example of how our environment changes. This impacts our physical characteristics, but also our personality even, our mannerisms, how we act, changes and shifts being influenced by the environment. One thing, if you are around Japanese people, you'll realize their mannerisms are quite different, right, from Americans. Just grab this mic. One thing Japanese people, we all know that because there's many Japanese people in this room, right, is they bow, right? And also Koreans and a lot of Asian cultures, they have this culture to bow, right, as a greeting or as a way to show respect. But one funny thing, if you notice a Japanese person when they're even speaking on the phone, so the person is not even in front of them, but they'll be speaking to them on their phone and saying, "Hi, domo, hi, arigato, hi." When they end the phone conversation, "Oh, hi, shitsureshimasu, hi, shitsureshimasu, hi, domo." It's just so ingrained in their culture and their being that they do this naturally. All Japanese people, you know what I'm talking about, right? And just by living there for 4 years, I noticed, even just coming back to America, I noticed that I bow a lot more. I have this habit of, oh yeah, thank you. Especially when I'm interacting with my Japanese brothers and sisters, I'm like, hi, ohayou. So the impact of the environment is, both impacting our character, our personality, our habits, our behavior, and our external results. It's so important to our life. And the same thing goes for our life of faith. I want to just give one more example. You know what this is? So even if we look at how creation happens, how do babies get made, right? We got the sperm and the egg, right? If you understand about the life of, I don't know if you can call it the life, but the journey of the sperm, is the most difficult journey is getting to the egg, right? There's thousands and hundreds of thousands of sperm that are trying to get to that egg, and many of them don't make it. Many of them die along the way. But one of them reaches that egg and gets into that egg and gets to fertilize that egg. And then from there, nature takes its course, right? The work of that sperm is basically done at that point. And it's just in that egg and it is growing, and that fetus is growing. And the baby doesn't have to do all that much work, right? 99% of the growth and the nutrients that baby is receiving is from the environment of the womb, the environment of the mother. Now, of course, that mother is working really hard, right? But the baby doesn't know that at all. It's just receiving from the environment. And in a spiritual sense, I feel the most important thing for us, if we want to receive spiritual rebirth, is to get into the womb, the spiritual womb of our Heavenly Parent. That is why Mother Moon really encouraged that we have a place of prayer we call the Chun Shin Wan. This is the garden of God's heart, this place where we can go to and we can receive rebirth. It's like a spiritual womb. And again, the main battle is not what happens when you get there. The main battle for us is just making the effort to put ourselves in that environment to receive the nutrients, to receive the rebirth. Putting ourselves in the right environment. If we look at Mother Moon's life as an example of this is from her memoirs. She's talking about her life as a young, growing up and maturing. Because now, as I began to mature, she added to the task of providing her daughter a spiritually safe environment. She's talking about her mother and how her mother raised her. She wanted me to reach maturity in an environment of internal and external purity. And she considered how to separate me as much as possible from the influence of the secular world. So even someone as, we look at Mother Moon, even someone as amazing as Mother Moon or Father Moon, even they had to be raised in an environment that was going to allow them to fully mature, right? If you think about, if you understand the principle, it talks about how important it was for there to be an environment before God could send Jesus, right? Because even Jesus had to be raised in a proper environment so that he can be matured. So Mother Moon's mom, who we call Daimonim, she was so conscious and so aware to make sure that the environment that her daughter was raised in was a pure one and a safe one. And any of the parents in this room can relate to that, right? Because don't we as parents have that concern for our children, that are my children in a safe environment? Are my children in a place that is both externally safe for them, but also internally safe, a place where they can receive that love and be nurtured in that love? If you're a parent, you know what I mean, right? You have those concerns. I have these concerns about my son. It's what we're talking about when we talk about as a couple for our son. So let's look at the environment of our world today. Does anyone know what movie this is from? This is not from a movie. This is about a month ago. This is what New York City looked like just a month ago. We had these wildfires going on, and I never experienced that growing up, seeing the sky filled with smoke. It was like something that I would see in a movie, but we all experienced that in real life, that the air was not healthy to breathe here in this wonderful environment of Westchester, Rockland, Orange County. We experienced that. In the external world, we're seeing this climate disaster, this pollution. And the reality is, though, it doesn't start because of this external, what we're doing externally, the actions that we take. But this world that we're living in right now, this externally polluted world, is really just a manifestation of what's going on inside the human heart. That there is pollution of the human heart, internal corruption and selfishness that is having humanity turn this planet into a wasteland. The reality is, if we want to heal this planet, we have to heal the human heart. We have to become people who can be good stewards of this planet. Our environment is actually just a message for us That's the way our life works. Our external results, the things that we see in our life, all of it is perfect and good just the way it is. And let me tell you why. It's because we need it to be that way in order to learn what we need to learn. You know, we need to see the challenges so that we can become better and become closer to God's original ideal of who we need to be. Our environment, the reality is our environment is always giving us a message. It's always teaching us something about life, about something. When we go to the prayer hall, you look at the decorations and the surrounding, it's teaching you something. It's telling you this is a place for prayer. This is a place for devotion. So what is the message of your environment, of our environment? Think about your home environment, for example, or think about your work environment, or the environment of this nation. What is the message that is being communicated to us through that environment? When we go to Times Square, for example, any of us, I think you've all been to Times Square, right? At some point in your life, right? You go to Times Square and you are immediately hit with so many messages, right? So many messages. And in that environment, it is telling us the answers to some of the most important questions of life. Questions like, what is life about? What is the meaning of our life? What is the purpose of our life? You go to Times Square, it's giving you information. It's giving you answers to these questions. This is what life is about. Life is about, what do you see here? Life is about success. Life is about materialism. Life is about, big shiny things. These are messages. How can I be happy? We're getting messages constantly from our environment. How can I be happy? Drink some Coca-Cola. Right? Drink some Coca-Cola, buy this product, have this, brand of sneakers, and you'll be a happy person. Yeah. What is my value based on? These are, again, crucial questions of human life that our environment is telling us. Your value is based on how much money you make. Your value is based on your external appearance. Your value is based off of what kind of car you drive, what kind of house you own. And here's the thing that we have to be conscious of and aware of is that these messages are not a mistake. They did not happen by chance. They are intentional messages, and they are here to shift our viewpoint, our idea, and our understanding about life and about who we are and about what is important. And they were done in a way that was not thinking about your or my happiness or fulfillment. That was not the motivation of these messages, of creating the environment in this way. I want to read a quote from this man named Paul Mazur. He's of Lehman Brothers. I think we've all heard that, big investment bank. He says, "We must shift America from a needs to a desires culture. People must be trained to desire, to want new things, even before the old have been entirely consumed. We must shape a new mentality in America. Man's desires must overshadow his needs." So what I'm saying is that this was planned, this was intentional, this was made to control our way of thinking. This is the birth of modern consumerism. It's an ideology to control humanity. And I'm not trying to make this into some conspiracy theory, right? But this is a reality of our world. And again, I don't think Paul Mazur was thinking very deeply about your happiness and your fulfillment when he said these things. He was thinking about profit. He was thinking about, how do I get more from you? The messages of the environment that we live in this country, in this world, what are they really about? They are created for the sake of domination, dominating you and dominating me, for the enslavement of people. That's the reality. Slavery did not end in America with the Emancipation Proclamation. Slavery is still alive and well in this country and in this world. And the reason why I'm saying this is because we cannot just be passive participants in this environment of this country. If you don't realize what's going on, how this environment is impacting you and affecting you, it's going to enslave you. And when I look at some of our young people, a lot of the young people who don't show up anymore, it just brings me so much heartache, because I see and I know that they're being enslaved by this environment. 99% is not their own personal choices, but it was just that point that they left the environment and they went out into the world and they started being consumed by this environment of consumerism and materialism. Reality is, it's the environment. It's going to be what determines where we end up in our life, where our children end up in our life, is the environment that we put them in, the environment that we encourage them to be a part of. And in this modern age, the environment is not just out there. It's not just going to New York City to see Times Square. We live now in a world where the environment comes to us, comes into our homes. Through what? Through our smartphones. We all got one, right? And how much time do we spend interacting with this virtual environment? With YouTube, with social media, with the Google News app. I'm just telling you all the things that I'm interacting with. Yeah. The environment is even worse in our smartphone than it is out there, because it is tailored to your tastes, to your desires, to your personality, to your personal situation. I remember, I was just on my phone, as I do sometimes, and scrolling through the news app, and there was some suggestive content that showed up. Right? It happens all the time, right? I caught myself having too much give and take with that. I'm just going to be honest with that. And, eventually, I snapped out of it and I put it away. And then I prayed. I felt really guilty. I felt bad. I prayed to God. And I said, God, I'm so sorry I did that. I'm so sorry I looked at that. But the answer that I got in that prayer was not what I expected. The answer I got from that prayer was not a condemning God. It said, you shouldn't have done that. There's something wrong with you. You're bad. You're wrong. The response that I got from that prayer was a sorrowful God. It was God telling me, I'm so sorry that you don't have the proper environment. This was not what I intended for you. This is not what I wanted for you. I think God looks at his children, looks at all of us with great, great compassion and understanding for our situation that we live in. God knows that 99% of who we become is because of the environment that we're raised in, the environment that we're in. We think about this. Think about the people who lived on this planet before Jesus ever came. Did they ever have a chance to know God as their Heavenly Father? They didn't. No matter what they did, they could have given their full effort and be the most disciplined person, the most, intellectual and smart person, but they could never fully grasp that God was their Father, because there was no environment for it. And God worked so hard to send these central people, Jesus, to bring and create this new environment. And then we get to live in that, and we get to be enhanced by that. Say, oh, God is our Father. And now we have this opportunity brought about by Father and Mother Moon, that we get to understand that God is not just my Father, but God is my mother too. That God is my heavenly parent, and I am a child of God. You know, I don't know that because of my personal choices, because what I did. I know that because I was born into this environment. This is the first time in history where this is possible. This is huge. This is huge. And we have an opportunity to create an environment where this gets to be possible for so many people. To fulfill God's original desire for the environment. We go back to the original ideal, the creation, when God created human beings. Originally, God wanted man and women to live in what? A garden of Eden. As any loving parent would do before creating the children, God put so much effort into creating a beautiful environment for the children to be raised in. We know from, science that it took billions of years to create the earth, just to create this planet, to create a place where there's oxygen and there's water and there's soil, so much development. And then finally, God could steal this. Now the environment is right for my children to be born. Just to read from Genesis, it says, now the Lord God had planted a garden in the east, in Eden, and there he put the man he had formed. The Lord God made all kinds of trees grow out of the ground, trees that were pleasing to the eye and good for food. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and to take care of it. God felt this incredible joy of seeing his children be in this garden and to take ownership of this garden. It was his gift, his greatest gift to his children was an environment where they could grow to maturity. And we know that the greatest pain of God is that he lost his children, lost the environment, right? His children left the environment where they could be with God, where they could experience God's love. And the work of Jesus, the work of all of the saints, and the way that God is working through humanity and through our Father and Mother Moon has been to recreate that original environment, recreate that original Garden of Eden that he longed to see his children live in. And if we look at the example of Father and Mother Moon, that's exactly what they've been doing for us. Reading from Mother's memoir, having mobilized American members to raise the necessary funds by selling candles, this devoted missionary prepared this training center for our international movement called Belvedere. It is a lovely estate on the Hudson River in Tarrytown, New York. I like the name as it befits a place where people could deeply experience God's love in a serene environment. This is what our parents, our Father, Mother Moon, they bought this place that we are in right now so that we could have this serene environment to feel God's love in this place. We are so blessed to be here at Belvedere. Adieu. We are the Belvedere family community. And I'm so proud to be a part of this community. I proudly said this during our regional national service that Belvedere is the greatest community in the world. And I stand by that statement to this day. When people ask me, they hear I'm a pastor, I say, what community do you pastor? Pastor the Belvedere community. I'm always proud to say that. People from all around the world, if you meet members from our movement from all around the world, they know the name Belvedere. They don't know, this church or that church, this state church, that state church, but they know Belvedere. This is Father and Mother's home. And I love when I can say that I'm a part of this community. And this land, this environment is so central to who we are as the Belvedere family community. It is in our name. Sometimes people ask me, what is the future of our community? Are we going to buy a new property? Are we going to get another church? And I've prayed about that so many times. And rest assured, Belvedere property staff, we're going to stay here at Belvedere. We're going to find a way. But this place is so important, and I really feel that I have to change my mindset about this property. Because as I'm talking about as an organization, as a community, we've looked at Belvedere as if we are renters of this property, right? We've had that kind of renter's mindset of, we're just coming here for Sunday, we're using it for our youth ministry, we pay our rent to the property, and the property people, they take care of the property. But, that's not really our responsibility, that's their responsibility. But I feel we need to become owners of this environment. We need to become owners of this community in all ways that makes sense. To become the owners. We need to become the inheritors, to receive this place from our true parents, our Father and Mother Moon, to nurture it, to really feel, I'm going to make this into a beautiful garden. I'm going to nurture this place. I'm going to make this place bloom and blossom. I already believe that this is one of, if not the most beautiful property in the Tarrytown area. It's so beautiful. But I also believe that we can make it really world-class. We can make it a place that is on the map, not just in our movement, but in the society, in the world. Are you with me?
Yeah.
All right. So I want to just share a vision for this property. Maybe if you want to just close your eyes for a moment and just listen and see what you see as I share. So, vision for Belvedere. As I walk into the Belvedere property, I'm immediately hit with the presence of God's love. As I see the beautiful flowers, I feel that their beauty exists for me. As I smell the fresh air, I'm reminded of God's original intention for mankind. I can hear the sounds of children laughing and shouting in joy as they enjoy the playground and the bouncy castles. In the garden, we harvest vegetables and feel God's abundance. Belvedere is a place where people of all races, ethnicities, and religious backgrounds can come to feel Heavenly Parents' embrace. It's a place where families can bring their children to and feel safe and at ease. It's a place where couples walk hand in hand, and when they embrace, we can see the image of God become a reality. Belvedere is a World Heritage Site, a must-see tourist destination for travelers, and home to the greatest community in the world. You can open your eyes. How does that feel? So what does that look like? I think we need to envision a future for this place, right? That goes beyond what it's been. It's great to continue the traditions and the history, but we also, more importantly, we have to grasp the original heart of Father and Mother Moon for this property, for this environment, that this was to become a place, the womb of Heavenly Parent for this community for this nation, for this world. So what does that look like? How can we move towards that? I was praying about this. This sermon came to me during the Chumbo Great Works. We had this big event. Hundreds of people came to this property. And I got this inspiration about this place, this environment. And one of the things that we realize in the principle is that one way to take ownership over something is to give it a name. That's the way that God told Adam to take dominion over the creation, is to name everything. Name the apples, name the bees. God didn't say that, just said, name that. Adam came up with it. So to become an owner of a pet, also, what do? You give it a name. Become an owner of your children. You give your children a name. They're your children. So when I was praying at the Chuncheon one, this was the thought that came, was the 4 gardens of Belvedere. And in my prayer, what I felt God was saying to me was that these 4 gardens will become the pillars of our community, and the pillars of our growth, and the pillars of creating this heavenly environment. So what are the 4 gardens of Belvedere? Are you curious? So the first one is the Garden of God's Heart. Right? It's also a Korean named the Chuncheon. This is the place, this is the garden where we can go to and we can experience direct connection and communication with the heart of God, our Heavenly Parent. The second garden is the Garden of God's Love. You like that name? So this garden that we've been developing, we've been working on, I realized we've never given it a name. And to take full ownership, we have to name it. So I thought, why the Garden of God's Love? Because food is love. A wise man once said. This is the place where when we go there and we can experience the beauty and we harvest the vegetables and we eat those vegetables, we can feel the nutrients and we can feel the love of God coming into us and feel substantially how God is wanting to take care of us through the creation. The third garden is right here. The Garden of God's Family. It's here that we can see this amazing picture of diverse families coming together. You are the fruits, you are the vegetables, you are the flowers of our Heavenly Parents and True Parents devotion. And when you see this environment, I remember, Q was sharing one of these Sundays, when you look around, this is the environment that you see, is you see couples, you see families being together, which is not a picture, unfortunately, that we see so often in this world, and especially not in churches, is seeing couples sticking together. In some communities, divorce and adultery is so prevalent. Why? It's because that's what happens in the environment. The more people that cheat, the more people that divorce, the more we are allowing we look at that and we justify for ourselves. Well, they did it. Well, I can do it too. Everybody's doing it eventually. And it's like, what hope do we have? But this is a place where the message is clear that we are families, that we love each other, that we stick it through, even when it's difficult. And I know it gets difficult, but we stick it through. And so the final garden is the Garden of God's Children. And this is one that I want to develop and I want to focus on this month, is to really create a space for children to feel safe and to play and to come together. We have this kind of playground area over there. We did buy a play set. We just need to set it up. but really turning it into a place where parents, young families can come to and feel, oh yeah, my kids would love this. My kids would love being there. And they can feel that peace of mind while their kids are playing. They can share with other parents and talk about family and God. So let's make Belvedere a world-class site for families to raise their children in. That's you? All right, let's do it. Wow, you guys are pretty excited about this stuff, huh? Yeah, me too. So this is my vision, and this is not just my vision, but this is what I got through the prayer and through listening to Mother Moon's recent words, is about the future of community growth. The future of what we call witnessing is not going to be about sharing the divine principle. It's not going to be about people reading a book and saying that, oh, I agree with everything that's in this book, therefore you can become a member of this community. Why read about cake when you can eat cake? The principle lives in the environment. The principle lives in this physical space, in the hearts of our brothers and sisters, in the actions, behavior, and the words that we share. The principle lives in that environment. Father and Mother Moon's life and love is here. The true heart of Jesus can be found here in this environment. My vision is that it'll be through simply bringing people into this environment. The environment will do the teaching. And the environment will be what brings about the rebirth. Just like the womb of the mother does 99% of the work to bring new life to that child, the environment that we create will bring 99% of the result of rebirth and transformation for people. All we have to do is get people here. You see someone who's having a hard time, a friend, a coworker, don't envision it like, oh, let's go to the park and let's go to my house and study my principle. No, they're having a hard time. And you just say, hey, I know a place where the sun shines like gold and the cherries bloom forth in the snow. You say, let me show you a place. It'll take your mind off your troubles. It'll make you feel better. You'll feel so good. Let's go for a walk. And you bring them here and you walk around the property and you show them the garden and you show what we built with the playground and you show them this place and you show them, you can tell them, yeah, this is where Father and Mother Moon, they lived here. They invested so much love here. They've made my life so incredible. And share your testimony about how you've received rebirth and transformation from this environment, from the devotion and investment of our Heavenly Parent and our true parents. You can share that. And for the young people, for the young families, it'll just be inviting the other young families that you meet at preschool and your, school meetings and say, hey, I know this place. You're looking for a safe place for your kids to play? I know a place. Bring them to Belvedere. Show them the playground. Show them this environment. Let them be here without condition. Without you have to believe this first. No, let them be here. Let them be loved in God's garden. You know someone who loves nature, you tell them, oh, I know the most beautiful organic garden in all of Westchester. Let me show you. That is, I truly believe, the future of our community and of growth. But even more importantly, I don't know even more, but just as important is this picture, the people. Because, again, it is the physical environment, but it's also the people that are there that creates the environment. If we as people can truly practice true love, truly serving and loving one another, listening to one another, which, when I was there yesterday, I really felt this is a beautiful environment of people loving and listening to each other. It was so beautiful. That's where people will receive that rebirth from their heavenly parent, from the love, from the space, from the beauty, from the nature. Because the principle is best taught through observing and learning and watching people who live principled lives according to that principle. Achu? So let's continue to create and enhance this environment, this property, but also the environments of our heart, of who we are. And on a personal note, I really want to ask and to plead on behalf of our Heavenly Parent to please make it a priority for your personal life to make time to be here in this environment, to be in a heavenly environment. It is the most important thing, most important decision for your spiritual life of faith. When you decide where to live, where to work, where to spend your time, make this an important factor in your decision-making process. Is this a place that I can easily and encourages me to go to the place where I feel God most? So, brothers and sisters, I just want to thank you so much. I could have probably said a lot more. I probably will say a lot more. But we're also going to see great transformation in this coming month and the months to come and the years to come to create this heavenly environment, both internally and externally. We're going to do that together. And I'm so grateful to be doing that together with you. So I love you, and I want to thank you so much. God bless. And I'm just going to close in prayer. Please join me in prayer. Our most beloved Heavenly Parent, our true parents, Father, Mother Moon, we thank you so much for this place, this environment we call Belvedere. When we come here, we don't see the investment. We don't see the people who gave up so much. We don't see the people who are out there selling candles day and night. The hardship, the difficulty, the sacrifices that they made, the thought process and the concern and the heart of Father and Mother Moon praying and thinking about the brothers and sisters, about God, your children. We do not see that. But God, I pray that you can open up our hearts and our minds, so that every single time that we come here, we can feel that spirit, we can feel that devotion, that investment, that love, that sacrifice, and feel this incredible Holy Spirit that just overcomes and overwhelms us, God, with your love. To know that we are loved and that there's purpose to our life, that life goes beyond the material world, money and work and all of that, God, that love is the center, that you are the center. Life is about love. Life is about family. Life is about creating beauty in this world. Let your message be strong and be clear. And here at Belvedere, let us nurture that. And eventually, God, let us create a world where everywhere we go and everywhere we walk, we are reminded of your love. We are reminded that we are not orphans traveling this world alone, that we are your children, that we have a place to belong in your hearts, in your world, in your kingdom. God, we thank you. We offer our gratitude, our devotion, and our commitment to move forward no matter what the environment tells us. The whole world tells us it's impossible. The whole world tells us to give up God, to give up religion, to give up spirituality and live a meaningless life. no matter what it takes. Let's never give up. Let us create something that is so beautiful that we can offer to you and offer to our true mother. And when she thinks about Belvedere, she thinks about her old home, her house. She feels so comforted, so confident that there are people there that are owning this place. They're taking care of it as true stewards and gardeners of this holy place. We thank you. We love you. And I pray and impart this in all of our names and in my name, Justin, because of Okamoto, a blessed central family. Adieu.
Thank you for that powerful sermon, Pastor Justin. We're so blessed to have Pastor Justin here in his vision. It's truly a blessing. So please take this moment to reflect on what we can do to create an environment that brings all of us closer to God. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. Now's the time for the pair share. Make sure you leave enough time for your partner to share too. And I'm guilty of that. That's why I'm bringing it up. It's more for myself. But yeah, talk to the person next to you and share your reflections. Thank you.
Poopy 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 poop poop. Poopy 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 poop. Poopy 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 poopy.
All right, if you haven't switched over, make sure you switch over. All right. All right. Thank you so much for sharing with each other. So, would anyone like to share with what they reflected on or what they gained from their pair share? Would anyone like to share?
Everybody wants to share. Hurry up, hurry up. Call.
Anyone?
You know the reason why I like to share, because I got something to share. It's not just about me, But I'm really inspired about what Pastor Justin said. Like in the environment you're around, right? He gave such a very well thought out idea that, like, you're in Times Square. Of course, it's a very polluted environment. My kids' memory of New York City is also, Dad, New York City stinks. It smells like urine. And I was like, what? But that's what they noticed. But anyway, I think that's a really good analogy. And like Pastor Justin has said at different times, we have to fight. We have to fight. We do have to be kind of courageous in a sense, and generous in giving. And don't be discouraged by this environment or what's happening in our life. And what's blessed me so much is I absolutely need other people. I need my central figure, not Pastor Justin, but somebody that I'm talking to literally every day that can change my life, because there's a solution to every one of our problems. And it's not just the principle, it's give and take. And it's having good mentoring. We absolutely need that. And thank you, Pastor Justin.
All right, anyone else? Anyone? Yes, Phyllis, right there. You want to hand it to her?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Because this morning, was it yesterday? I guess I had a chance to speak to David Eaton. He's over there. He was here for a little bit, but now he's in Korea. He attended a meeting with Mother and several leaders from Seoul. Their bottom line decision was, we gotta make our Sunday service guest friendly. You guys we're doing that here. That you. So I just want you to know you're doing the right thing, according to what guest friendly. But then also I want to say one more thing. I'm really a fortunate person. I get this kind of news. Dr. Young, our beloved Dr. Young, he came to my church. I told you that the last time, right? Wow, he came to my church. Our church was not a main church. Mother, after he came, anyway, Mother made many churches bigger churches. They call 큰 교회. And so they made our church, Namyangju Church, and he's there. Okay, so when we left, there were like, maybe because of COVID, I tell you, but we lost a lot of coming to church members, maybe 70 to 100 a month. A week. You know what? We have now, he reached over 300. Now he's only been there, 3-4 weeks, right? He's only, I tell you, it's wonderful. But the last thing is talking about, this heavenly environment. Namyangju Church is in a new city. It's a city, though. It's not like this, not beautiful like this. But what we have that you guys don't have, but we have Changpyeong. Have you been to Changpyeong? If you haven't been there, you got to get there. It's the most beautiful place. And Dr. Young was telling us that he's going to make the effort every other Sunday take everybody, take our new members to go to Changpyeong, right? Just what Pastor Justin is telling us. Give them that, environment, and it'll happen. Yeah, I wanted to let you know that we're doing the right thing. He's on the right. I don't know how he could be so right on the right track. He's just a kid, I think. I take that back. He's the most wonderful kid in the world. I thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for those beautiful reflections and sharing. Can we do one more?
Yeah, thank you. That was really a very, very meaningful message. Considering that you plant these seeds and they're swept away in the environment, and tying it in with this idea that the mother's womb, the mother's womb it contributes more to our development than anything else. And so then coming around to the question of how do we respond to this? What are we going to do? And Pastor Justin has a vision. we're going to build we're going to create an environment here because just dropping in words is not enough. Just dropping in seeds is not enough. There has to be a nurturing atmosphere. So I'm really inspired by this. This is wonderful. We can all think about this more and how we can really build on this vision. Thank you very much.
All right. We have to do one more because of my mom.
I wasn't going to say anything because I'm not ready to speak, but I have to say something. First, I want to thank everyone for your love and kindness to me. I love my Belvedere family. I love them so much. I love all of you, and I feel the love back. In my country, we say, in America, they say, home is where your heart is, right? In my country, when your mother passes away, you feel like, I have no home, right? When my mother passed away, my youngest brother was saying, sister, now we used to say, yo siempre tengo la casa de mi madre. I have my mother's home to go to. But when the mother is dead, you have no home. I think we need to say Belvedere is our home. Home is where your mother is. Mother Moon, Father Moon, spirits are here. This is our home. Let's bring everybody home. Let's open the doors of our hearts, and the spirit of Father Moon must be so happy and proud to see us this morning. Let's bring people to our home, to our hearts. This is our home, and our heart is here. Where your mother's heart, Mother Moon's heart, and sweat, and Father Moon's are here. So this is our home, and we welcome everyone into our hearts in a Belvedere home.
That was beautiful sharing from everyone. And we're going to welcome up the song team. Thank you so much.
So in keeping with that, we are going to sing again this beautiful theme song of our home. Home is where the heart is indeed. The Belvedere song is truly one of the most beautiful songs that reflects the heart of God.
I know a place where the sun shines like gold, where the cherries bloom for the rainless snow. And down underneath is the loveliest place where the four-leaf clovers grow. One leaf is your faith, and one is for hope, and one is for love you know. Another one is for you. You search, you will find where there
face.
I know a place where the sun shines like gold, where the cherries bloom for the snow. And Norway is the loveliest place where the four-leaf clovers
Thank you for coming. Thank you all for coming. God bless you. And have a great week.
Amen.
And come back
Enjoy
often.
the forest garden.